Welcome into a Friday edition of Daily Face-Off Live. Tyler Remchuk, Carter Hutton with you, streaming live on the DFO YouTube, where we are looking for your inbox questions. Drop them in with the hashtag AskDFO. We are also, as always, a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Huts, how you feeling heading into the weekend?
Feeling good. That was an exciting night last night. I was telling you beforehand, I went from the Jays game, the Jimenez home run, slid over, caught the end of the Montreal Canadiens game, which was insane. I know we're going to touch on it. Then I caught the OT winner for Matthews. It's a good hit event. There's tons of games going on. Exciting time to be a sports fan.
Yeah, it was quite the night last night. We had our Oilers Nation season open party at a bar in downtown Edmonton, and all the big TVs were on the Oilers game, as you can imagine, but there was one little TV that we got them to put on the Jays game. There were more eyeballs on that Jays game than the Oilers game, which was disappointing from an Edmonton perspective as well. But you touched on that Habs game, Huts, so let's kick things off there. Cole Caulfield, a stone cold killer. This guy's been unbelievable to start the season, and there's maybe a case that he's one of the more clutch players, at least when we talk regular season hockey, in the NHL right now. Cole Caulfield is the fastest player in NHL history to get to 10 overtime winners, and last night he did win the game for them in overtime. But without Caulfield, and I guess without Lane Hutson, this game doesn't even get to OT. This tying goal that we have on the screen right now is one of the craziest ones we'll probably see all season. It's a chance for an empty net. Hutson blocks it, and within seconds, Caulfield has it behind Saros.
And, it just shows you, like, the awareness of Caulfield when that shot is blocked. There's not much time left. He's gone. He's stretching the game out. He's at the far blue line, Lane Hutson. And then he's a threat, right? Like that's a goal that probably doesn't go in majority of the time, but it's Cole Caulfield and he's got an absolute laser. And it's from kind of just outside the circle, the face-off dot. What a play by Hutson. What a play by Caulfield. In their last 14 regular season games, Ty, at home, they're 12-0-2, which is an unbelievable number dating back to last year. And this is a fun team to watch. The excitement in Montreal is real. Even the ovation that Marty St. Louis got last night when they introduced him as the head coach was just like a standing O. It's unreal. This is a lot of fun here. And Caulfield's got 10 overtime winning goals. This one, again, there was only 2 seconds left when this one ends up in the back of the net. So an awareness play by me, if you watch this clip out here, Stamkos just kind of got to be on the D side of the puck here. He's digging, turns over, Suzuki goes and puts it in front, and Caulfield can finish it. But this was an exciting finish and a huge win for the Canadiens at home.
Yeah, they are 4-1 to start the season. So anyone who was maybe worried that they would have some amount of regression this year, absolutely not the case. 18 goals in their first 5 games as well. They win a game with Dobish between the pipes. And yeah, Caulfield, as you can see here, 5 goals in 5 games to start the season. There are just 6 players in the NHL who've already hit the 5-goal mark. And listen, I mean, bigger picture now, the Habs proved last year that, they took a step forward, and that was without Demidov. And then they go out and add Noah Dobson in the offseason, and, young players who you can reasonably expect to take a step forward, a very young blue line. That heads up play by Hutson to spring Caulfield, that's a pass that not a lot of guys in the league can make. They look really, really good. And I'll talk about Dobson really quick here. Amongst their group of 6 regular defensemen, he has the best 5-on-5 goals against per 60, the best 5-on-5 shots against per 60. I know he's in New York. He's an offensive minded. There were questions about his D zone play. I think Dobson, he's been a steadying presence for that blue line so far. Everything's going well for them.
And I think it's the youth paired with the confidence that Martin St. Louis gives these players. And you see it constantly. I've seen a few clips of it already. There was a clip, obviously, of, I don't know if you saw that one last year, where he was showing Caulfield to fake that shot and then move it. And you can see him. This is a guy that's lived it. So he understands what they're going through. And even the other day, he had a clip with Demidov where he was showing him on an entry where to delay and what the option's going to be. And then that night he does it and he finds a seam. And I think there is relatability for a guy who's like Martin St. Louis doesn't really feel like he's very far removed from the game. If not, he's kind of the perfect player's coach. And with this youth, with this energy they have, he's given them the leash to go and have fun. And you can feel the confidence in this lineup. So it's been a lot of fun to watch. And they did the same thing the other night to Seattle, right? Demidov ties it late, Caulfield in overtime. It seems they just keep churning wins. And last night, for me, another important factor was Jakub Dobish was the goalie. And he was in a tough spot. He had 17 saves. He played well. And in overtime, there was a 2-on-0 where Stamkos kind of delayed, let Forsberg come in on the breakaway, and he made a huge glove save to give them the chance to win. And that's stuff that no matter who's in net, who's playing, this team has confidence in them.
Yeah, again, a good duo between the pipes as well. It's nice that they can win, a relatively low scoring game with their backup between the pipes. They're a really exciting team to watch. Like, again, I don't think they're going to win the Atlantic. I don't think they're going to be a 105-point team this year, but I absolutely think they can be in the high 90s. I think they can be a 100-point team potentially this year. Like, the sky's the limit here for this Habs team, especially when you look like eventually, and I don't think you can ever truly pinpoint when the changing of the guard kind of happens, but like eventually Tampa Bay won't be Tampa Bay. Eventually Florida will not go to the Stanley Cup final, and they won't be the Florida Panthers. Like, you never know when a team is going to take that jump. Very similarly to how Montreal last season went from like, okay, can they maybe stop being a basement dweller? Can they jump up and just be a little more competitive? Well, they jumped all the way up to being a playoff team. I don't know if they took an early jump the first time from step 1 to step 2 of their rebuild. Who's to say that they can't take a little bit of a more premature jump from step 2 to step 3? Maybe they are more legit than people thought they would be coming in.
Yeah, I agree. And I think forecasting that is the tricky side of it. And what I have noticed now when you talk about the Montreal Canadiens is you're not really fooling. Like, when you go to play Montreal, these used to be easy games. You knew that they weren't going to be structured and you could get to them and they were going to cheat the game. But now with their energy, now with their commitment to playing on both sides of the puck, this becomes a dangerous hockey team. And as they continue to grow and as these younger kids get more experience, more confidence, more exposure, they become more and more dangerous. And this is a team you get nervous about meeting because of that youth energy, because of the unknown. When with some other teams, there's more predictability in them, right? They are who they are. They have that identity, where this identity in this team is continually growing. I think Martin St. Louis and Kent Hughes are very like the founders of this. They've built something good there. The confidence in these younger guys have been great in a market where it demands a lot of excellence. So kudos to them.
Yeah, let's keep cruising along. Another game last night that was pretty captivating was the Golden Knights and the Boston Bruins. And listen, the shot clock, the numbers, the metrics all heavily leaned Vegas Golden Knights in this one as they finished off the Bruins by a score of 6-5. But I wanted to throw you a couple of things, Huts, in the form of true or false questions. And let's start with the Boston Bruins in this one, because again, the metrics didn't really favor them, but I've been kind of raising an eyebrow at them in their first 5 games this year. I think there's a chance that they're much better than they were last season. It was a 76-point year. It was ugly. They got to trade Brad Marchand. People wondered if it was going to be a long rebuild, but they're healthy this year. Lindholm's looked awesome. That blue line has looked good. They maybe need a few more saves here and there, but true or false, the Bruins will be better than they were last year.
True. I honestly believe it. I think opportunity-wise for a lot of the younger players to get in there and play, and I think for Jeremy Swayman, coming in and just being part of this team from the start, having that woes, right? I look back on his numbers in his career. You start to try to break it down from the goalie's perspective. And, he was protected. He had Linus Ullmark. He had that stopgap. There was a guy where if it wasn't going well, they were going game for game. You had breaks in between. Then all of a sudden you become the guy and you got to play 3-4 nights a week. It changes the whole dynamic of how you prepare, and then you miss training camp. So I look for him to be a little bit better. Obviously last night didn't fare well, but it's a bit of an outlier too. You're playing a very good Vegas team. They get their chances and they capitalize on it in a rink that feels like it can close in on you at times. But for him, with a healthy decor, a little more predictability in the defensive zone, I look for Jeremy Swayman to really help push this team up the ladder. I still don't think they're in the hunt come playoff time, but I assume that they will be a much better hockey team than they were last year.
Let's talk about the other side. When you go look at the leaderboard in the NHL in terms of players' goals, player points, it is a whole bunch of Vegas Golden Knights to start the year. And maybe we'll call him the most surprising of the bunch, but Pavel Dorofeyev, on the heels of a breakout 35-goal season, he's popped home 6 already in his first 5 games. He got to 35 last year. True or false, Dorofeyev can hit the 40-goal mark this season?
True. I think at this point, and the players that he gets to play with and the opportunity he's going to get in the finishing, he's going to get harder matchups, right? That's one thing that does come when you do pop off is, you have a big season, you're not really fooling anybody. Just like I talked about with the Montreal Canadiens, he's going to be a marked man where these are things he's going to have to deal with, right? There's going to be harder checks on him. It's going to, guys are going to make it hell when you are the check-in line. But that being said, the supporting cast are such distributors and guys with Eichel and Marner and the depth down this lineup. If you're going to try to cover someone more, there's going to be more opportunities somewhere else. So I think he can continually grow. And this is a deep team, right? You look at like they're the one line with Riley Smith, Carlson, and Mark Stone. That could be a dominant line anywhere. And they're a team that's just going to fly under the radar. They're going to get better matchups. For Taforev, I think he's going to get a lot of goals this year, and there's going to be a lot of pressure relief because of what Eichel and Marner are going to draw.
Speaking of Jack Eichel, he's got 11 points to begin the season. He's starting to inch his way up the Hart Trophy board over at Bet365 as well. Again, with Marner they're not like, it's not like Eichel, Dorofeyev, and Marner are all playing together. Like they're spreading out this top six. It's a really, really strong offensive attack. But I want to ask you on the Eichel front, true or false, he will finish the year as one of the 3 Hart Trophy finalists. Can he keep it up, I guess, is the question.
I like that. I like it. Just because they're going to be a good team too. And I always think you are a product of having a better team and getting your points. And what I do see in Jack is the relief that Marner brings with his creativity. So maybe he starts to shoot the puck a bit more. He does have an elite shot. He can score at will, but at times he puts it away. He looks for second, opportunities. He likes to draw guys out of the pile and distribute the puck, where I think Marner already has that element to him. So it's going to bring that in. And with his Selke-like play as well, he defends so hard. And now the security of this contract and where he's at and having the cup, I think this could be a year where you just see Jack Eichel having fun playing hockey. And I feel like he's reinvigorated himself in Vegas, the trade for Marner, what's going on. Now the Carter Hart news coming in where they're getting another goalie. They're getting a guy that's going to help this team. They're trying to win. I just think he's going to be relieved. So I could see him as a finalist for sure. No ifs, ands, or buts how talented he is.
Yeah, he actually has better odds to win the Selke than the Hart Trophy right now, which is pretty crazy. We're going to get to our big segment in 2 minutes, but I wanted to have a little bit of fun here on a Friday. Mike Gould over at dailyfaceoff.com wrote a really good article and, deserves a funny word when it comes to this, but it's tank watch for Gavin McKenna. And there are a lot of organizations, a lot of fan bases, I think, who would probably sit there and go, you know what? We'll take the 20% shot at Gavin McKenna over the 8th seed in a playoff spot. We joked about that with the Islanders the other day. They're still in that goodwill kind of grace period of their rebuild where their fan base is like, oh, yeah, you can suck for another year if it means we can get a guy who's that good. But basically, Mike Gould outlined who he thinks, which franchises deserve McKenna the most. So I have my pick for who I think it is. There were 3 teams that I crossed off immediately. I said the Islanders don't deserve him. They just had their first overall pick. Chicago's got a bunch. They have Connor Bedard. They don't deserve him. They don't need him. I also had San Jose on that list because they got Celebrini and Misa and Will Smith. You've had enough high picks. You're out. Do you disagree with me on any of those fronts?
I disagree with you on the San Jose one because I like San Jose, and I guess maybe I'm biased because I spent the early part of my career there when there was Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton and Joe Pavelski and all these guys that were met, and they got so close to winning a Stanley Cup and being there. So I know it'd be there'd be loaded with riches of prospects and guys that can push them over the top. But then when I think of some of the other teams that are in the lower echelon of the league, and we talked about Boston. I don't know if they're going to be down in the bottom, but Pittsburgh or Chicago or some of these other, they've had their cups, they've had dynasties. So I would like to see a team like that get pushed over the top. Then the other one for me that I really like is the Nashville Predators. Another team that came so close. They've had, recently it hasn't been great, but they've been close. A team I spent 3 years at where it'd be fun for them. Like, remember that year they went to the Cup final with Pittsburgh? And there was hundreds of thousands of people in the street watching the games. The whole city turned gold. I feel like that would be so fun to watch if they could get a few more pieces to push them over the top.
Yeah, that's fair. It's so funny to think about Nashville. They've had this long quest to find a number 1 center. Like, think of all the trades: sign Turris, trade for Duchesne, Ryan Johansson, Ryan O'Reilly. Like, they've taken so many swings to try find a number 1 center. They probably do deserve one at one point. I had mine narrowed down to 2 teams. One will make people's eyes roll probably a little bit because Pittsburgh doesn't deserve it. But, like, if we can get 2-3 years of McKenna and Crosby, that would be fun, right? Like, again, deserve, funny word, but it would be fun.
Yeah, I could see that too. And it almost like reinvigorate his last years in the league, right? Well, who knows? He seems like the ageless wonder. But that being said, it would be fun to see him slotted in there with Pittsburgh and what they could do. I guess it's just maybe I'm a bit biased to some of the teams I played or cities I want to see have success. And Pittsburgh being the dynasty that they were in their time, it'd just be another selfish move by the Pens. But it'd be cool to see Crosby alongside him and what he could do with him.
And then the last one I had, and I'm sure you'll like this. The franchise doesn't deserve it. The organization doesn't deserve it. The fan base in Buffalo. Maybe we can make a deal.
Yeah.
If they fire everybody, all the other the other 31 teams, fire everybody, burn it down, trade off Dahlin and Thompson so everyone gets a little bit of something, and then we'll give you Gavin McKenna. We'll reward the fan base. You get one more rebuild, Buffalo.
That's the only one where it's like I have a bias there, but I just I don't want to see him go there and just waste away like Jack Eichel did, like Reinhart, like all these other guys did. So I am a little bit scarred from their past, but we'll give him a clean slate. Okay. We'll let him try it if it works out.
Yeah, I see Mechanicsville in the chat says the NHL is not allowing Buffalo to get McKenna. And yeah, maybe that's true. Let's get to our big segment. It's a team that is far, far, far away from the draft lottery conversation. We're going to talk some Colorado Avalanche with Jesse Montano, and it's brought to you by Uber Eats. Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. There is playoff baseball. There is a full weekend of hockey. There's football on Sunday. You don't have time to cook. Rely on Uber Eats, whether it's game day eats or paper plates if you're hosting, or all the ingredients for your favorite game day dip before, during, and after the game. Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. Jesse Montano covers the Colorado Avalanche for Guerrilla Sports. Very excited to have you back on the show this year, Jesse. And let's start with this start to the season for the Avs. Last year, it was 0-4. They couldn't get a save. This year, they're 4-0-1. I'll start with, is it as simple as goaltending, or is there more to this Avalanche hot start?
Yeah, no, great to see you guys. Great to be off to another season here in the NHL. But Tyler, it's funny. I think when I came on the show last year, at this time it was, what are they going to do in net? Are they making a move? What's going on here? I think it's a couple things that's a difference here. One, it is goaltending. Even with Mackenzie Blackwood, actually on a conditioning stint right now in the AHL because he's missed all of camp with a procedure got done in the summer. Scott Wedgwood has been outstanding for the Avs to start this season, and just the amount of the difference you see in the locker room, the confidence that the guys have. No one ever explicitly said last year, we don't have confidence in these goaltenders. They didn't need to. You could see it in their body language. You could see it in the way that they were playing. I think there's so much more confidence in what they have in net right now. So I think that's one. Two, this is a really similar group that the Avs had at the end of last season. This is a really similar group that got eliminated by Dallas in 7 games in the playoffs. So there's not really that same kind of feeling out process. The Avs used 50 players last year. Injuries, trades, it was just all over the place. It felt like you were in a feeling out period with this roster for 85% of the season. They're just comfortable. And then I do think they are heavily motivated by the way last season ended. So I think a few of those things coming together has just gotten them off to a really hot start here.
Do you think this has a big piece to do with Gabe Landeskog being back and being there for training camp and being that shot in the arm where, you have your leader back, you have a guy that's going to be vocal in the room, and obviously Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, they have great leadership, but he kind of is the guy that stirs the drink about his leadership,
No question. I asked guys that have played with Gabe Landeskog and guys who haven't at the start of training camp, and just, hey, is there a difference with him being around? And zero hesitation. Absolutely. No question. Jared Bednar talks about how Gabe Landeskog almost kind of exists in this layer, between the coaches and the players. He's kind of that go-between. He understands, what the group needs. He understands, how he can communicate that to the coaching staff. And if the coaching staff needs something, how to communicate that back to the players. His presence is invaluable. And I think it's really been kind of underscored how much they've missed it when you see the way that they're playing to start this season. Like you said, they've had Nathan MacKinnon, who's grown, immensely as a leader in the last 3 years. Cale Makar, who we've seen, become the best defenseman in the NHL and a big leader for this team. We've seen all that happen over the last 3 years, but you just can't replicate what Gabe Landeskog does for this group. A few years ago when he almost left in free agency, someone asked Nathan MacKinnon, like, hey, was it crossing your mind that maybe you were going to be taking over as the captain? And he said, no, I don't want it. I need Gabe here. Gabe keeps me in check. And when you have a guy like Nathan MacKinnon saying that, it really kind of does paint the picture for what Gabe Landeskog means to this organization.
Yeah, and obviously MacKinnon is such a competitor, and they've created that culture there. It's a word we use a lot, but like having leaders like that, it doesn't really show on a stat sheet. It's something you can't understand in analytics, what goes on in a locker room. But as I look at this division, the Central Division is loaded, right? We look at last year, look at how good their season was and where they're at. Then they draw the Dallas Stars. Does it become a priority to try to win this division if you're there, right? Like maybe pressing a little bit more. You have two good goalies, Mackenzie Blackwood, who will be healthy soon, and Wedgwood. Do you try to press a little more to get more points to win the division so you don't get a brutal first-round matchup, whether it be Winnipeg or Dallas, whoever it is?
I'm not going to lie. I heard you saying Gavin McKenna to the Nashville Predators, and I was like, oh, great. That's exactly what the Central Division needs. I do think that the way that last season went, this group, I'm going to go backwards a little bit here. In 2021, they really made a push to win the President's Trophy. And when they were eliminated by Vegas, they talked about it after of saying, yeah, we maybe emptied the tank a little bit too much trying to get that seeding. And we're not going to put as much emphasis on that next season. And obviously, we know what happened in 2022. So I think they've had that mentality the last couple of years of, we don't really care where we finish. I have to imagine last season changed that thinking just a little bit of even had you gotten out of that first round. I mean, we saw what happened to Dallas. Those were tough series they were playing. And by the time they got to the Western Conference Final, they just looked out of gas. I think the Avs played through that series, got to 7 games, and then watched what happened to Dallas and said, man, if we want to go on a deep run here, if we want to play 4 rounds, we can't be getting that beat up early on. So I do think there is an emphasis on, trying to avoid Dallas and Winnipeg in round 1. You're going to have to go through those teams eventually if you want to win a Stanley Cup. But if you can get through a round of the playoffs before you have to go through that type of slog against those big, heavy physical teams, not even to mention, a team like Minnesota, which maybe you don't want to run into either. I think there's a bit of an emphasis on, hey, let's bank some points here early when we're hot, when we're rolling, so that we can maybe put ourselves in a position where we're drawing a wild card team in round 1. Like I said, I don't know if they would have felt that way a year ago, but I have to imagine that experience against Dallas changed them a bit.
A little bit bigger picture here, but we've obviously spent a lot of time early in the season talking about some of these free agents who are going off the board. And Martin Necas says every guy starts to sign, he just moves higher and higher up that UFA list. What's your read on that situation? I mean, I'm sure it's a good fit in Colorado, and he'd love to win there, but like, there's a world where he's the number 1 UFA on the market July 1.
No, you're 100% right. Look, to start this season, him and Nathan MacKinnon have been electric to watch. The speed, the creativity, the way they play off each other has been, it's exceeded a lot of the expectations for what, a lot of the media here in town were kind of expecting. We saw a glimpse of it last year. It was good. It worked well. But Marty Necas just looks like he's on another level right now. What I had heard as of a couple weeks ago is that both sides were talking. It was moving forward, that they were feeling good. I haven't heard anything that's changed, but Marty Necas 9 points through the first 5 games, and this looks like a great fit for him. I made the comment on Twitter, I think it was earlier this week, saying, yeah, Chris McFarland might want to get that contract signed sooner rather than later, because right now it looks like the price tag on that might be going up. It's a good fit. I don't think the Avs want a repeat of what happened last year with Mikko Rantanen. I think there's a chance here that this fit with Marty Necas works well enough next to Nathan MacKinnon that you can actually come pretty close to replicating the production that you got out of Mikko Rantanen in Marty Necas, while also giving yourself a little bit more flexibility to add some depth. So I don't think the Avs want to get into the business here of, all right, well, we flipped Mikko Rantanen for Marty Necas. Now we need to flip Marty Necas for something else. Like, get the deal signed. It seems like it's a good fit. Nathan MacKinnon really likes playing with him. So I think they'll get it done. But I also thought they were going to get Mikko Rantanen's deal done. So obviously Penn needs to go to paper, but it's been a great fit so far. And I think the Avs are motivated to keep Marty here.
And he's going to be a really young UFA. I mean, full credit to his agent for getting this kind of contract thing lined up. A 27-year-old UFA with those kind of numbers is like he's double digits AAV, right?
I'm thinking that this is probably somewhere in the 10 to 10.5 range at least, depending on how quickly they can get this deal signed. If you keep letting them pile it up, I mean, you might be pushing closer to 11 plus.
Jeez. And not to keep kind of yammering on about this one thing, but and we shouldn't be doing revisionist history, but if he ends up going 11 plus, does it make the Rantanen deal look worse?
So that's been a big question that I've gotten, this year. And truthfully, I'll say no. I'm under the understanding that the Avs front office, and I don't think any front offices really knew exactly how much the cap was going to jump when they made that deal. So, it is a little bit of a different landscape here. However, I do think that it's going to be hard for you to avoid, that court of public opinion if the number does come in somewhere around there. I think you would like to keep it under 11 just for that little, public facing win of, hey, we kept it well below what Mikko signed for, and it's allowing us to have Jack Drury in our bottom six, who's also played really well to start the season. And so I think if it does come in over 11, look, you're going to get pushback from the fan base if you should have just given this to Mikko. But landscape has shifted a bit, and I do think the Avs are going to try to keep it closer to that 10-5 range. Like I said, if for nothing else but the public appearances.
Jesse Montano from Gorilla Sports. Always great to catch up with you, Jesse. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, great chat with you, boys. Talk to you soon. All
right, let's get to our daily face-off inbox question. Hashtag AskDFO. Our boy J-Rock's in the chat. He wants to know, after only watching 5-ish games this season, are there any preseason predictions you would change based on just a couple of games? That is a very, very good question. I'm looking at the standings right now, trying to remember what my preseason predictions were. Is there one that jumps out to you, Hutz?
I guess maybe it would be the Rangers. I thought the Rangers would have started better than they have, and I don't think they're playing horrible hockey by any means. Again, another loss last night to Toronto in overtime. They get the point, but maybe the lack of, not that I didn't think that there was going to be this outburst of offense coming from the Rangers, but I thought we were going to see something different. The change in the captain, JT Miller being the leader, Sullivan coming in. Igor's been really, really good, but I guess I just thought they would get off to a better start than they have, Ty.
Couple that maybe I predicted the Caps would miss the playoffs. They're 3-1. That's great, but they only have 9 goals in 4 games. And my concern there was offense. I don't like the Red Wings still. I mean, they're 3-1. Talbot's playing great. I don't know if I'm willing to go as I don't want to take anything back yet. So J-Rock, I think my lame answer to you will be that it's too early for me to truly pull back on anything I predicted to start the year. We'll maybe run that back November 1, and I'll be singing a different. But just Ask DFO is brought to you by the Daily Faceoff Survivor Pool. Hutz, did you get your
pick in for Survivor? I haven't put my pick in yet, but I need to, and I will dial that in right now on the Survivor pick. I have my bets ready for tonight, but I never put my Survivor in because I'm the only one with 2 lives left. You two both took an X last week.
Yeah, Pat and I both took a loss of our boy Pat. Let's get to our daily bets. Brought. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Pat, who do you got for Survivor this week? Have you locked it in?
No, I haven't locked it. It's a big choice because I don't want to be out of it already. So I think maybe I was looking at Florida, but I haven't picked just yet. But we can jump. Go ahead.
I think I'm going Toronto, by the way. I think I'm taking the Leafs. I'm going to trust them with my last life. But yes, we can get to our daily bets. Did anyone win last night, Pat? I know I lost. I missed by 2 Nathan MacKinnon shots.
No wins last night. So these records on the left aren't right, but these are the picks we had from yesterday. I mean, Carter was close with the Canadians. Just the money line got you.
Did I say that? I might have to go back and watch the film. I thought I just said in regular, just like a general, just winning. But damn, why did I take the money line 3-way? The comeback kids. I should have knew they were going to do it in fine fashion like that.
Let's get to tonight's picks. Pat, what do we got? You can go first.
For tonight, I'm going with the hot hands, the Chicago Blackhawks. 8 goals against the Blues on Wednesday, and the kids are firing. So Frank Nazar 1 point and Bedard 1 point for a juicy 145. Mostly because our units are really low, so we need to get some wins here.
Got to see some go through the hoop. Huts, what do you like tonight?
You know what? I'm going to go with the bounce back from the veteran goalie, John Gibson. I just think, the Lightning are a hungry team, going to create offense, and 25 saves seems pretty capable for a younger back end. They're going to give us Cam Talbot's been very busy in those games where he's been good. So I think getting the 25 save for John Gibson shouldn't be too tough for the veteran.
Yeah, I'm going with another shot prop parlay. I was pretty good at these last year, so over 1.5 shots on goal for a couple of guys who are both been just crushing this number. So this season, Nick Schmaltz has actually been 3+ in 3 of his 4 games. Alexei Protas has also hit this mark in every game. So you play them together, and it's even money for Schmaltz and Protas to each go 2+ on goal. So those are our daily bets for our friends over at Bet365, and that'll bring us to garbage time, Huts. And it was we'll call it a little early season hiccup in the Devils and Panthers game the other night. Let's take a listen.
After review of the call on the ice stands, we have a goal. Oh, sorry! Wow.
Wait a minute.
Excuse me. After review, there is no goal. Florida will be charged a bench minor penalty for delay of game.
I think you can get away with that early in the year and get a smirk from Paul Maurice. If you do that game 70, you're probably getting a lashing from him.
Oh, yeah. You could tell he just had his hands in his pockets there. Like, you got to be kidding me. The way it's going so far with their injuries and their start. And it was funny. All you can do is laugh about it, right? It's a human factor. It's an error. It's no big deal. But everyone knew what he meant. I bet you he was embarrassed, though, after. I'm sure that's one that he's not going to outlive that video clip. That's the power of the internet now for Francis Chiron.
Francis Chiron. I also forgot. I wanted to ask you about Pat. Do we have that Stolarz clip? I meant to run that a little bit earlier. Here we go. Anthony Stolarz is going. I mean, playing like it's the 50s, I guess. Stopping a puck with his helmet off. Listen, competitive. It's instincts, all that. If I'm Craig Berube, I don't want my starting goalie. Just, you know what? It's early. You can let that puck go in. I don't need you taking one off the eye and having your season end.
I know he's a lovable goalie. He's just a competitor and he's a vocal guy and the way he plays. And I think it's just one of those ones you're in the moment. He's feeling it. He played so well last night. And there's actually a great clip here of JT Miller watching this game. He actually realized that he shot it and he didn't have his helmet on. So JT Miller went up to Stolarz and apologized. He was like, "Hey, I didn't realize you didn't have your helmet on," which was but that's got to be an instant whistle. Someone on the ice has to be aware to blow it down, because the last thing we need is a goalie eating a puck in the face and getting a serious injury.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got to protect the goalie a little bit more in that situation, because again, like instincts wise, he's just going to slide out and try to stop that puck. All right, that is a wrap on another week of Daily Faceoff Live. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Enjoy, action from 3 big professional sports leagues in one weekend. It should be a great one for our producer Pat Puff, Carter Hutton. Have yourselves a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Hey, hockey fans, if you enjoyed that video, then make sure you hit the subscribe button right here on the Daily Faceoff YouTube. We have you covered for everything you need. Exclusive interviews on The Sheet with Jeff Merrick, all the latest hockey news on Daily Faceoff Live, and you can always get your morning started with Johnny Lazarus and Colby Cohn on Morning Cup of Hockey. Don't miss a minute. Hit that subscribe button.